Welcome back. One of the realities facing families, healthcare for those aging, and in handling what often comes with that aging. I kind of enjoy this unique partnership. Legacy Law, Edgewood Nursing, Brandy Fiala, and Bobby Turry are with us this morning. Ladies, good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
If you will, let's kind of talk about the salt of the earth facts that need to be discussed. Brandy, let's talk about the numbers in South Dakota, if we can. How many are living with Alzheimer's, considered to be a part of that public health crisis?
Definitely. Well, right now there's about 17,000 South Dakotans living with Alzheimer's. The number's expected to increase. Medicaid and Medicare costs for people with Alzheimer's and the caregiving costs are just extraordinary and increasing. In the state of South Dakota alone, 157 million, and those are expected to increase by 30% by 2025. The costs are already high and they're only rising. We do have options like secured memory care units. We provide 24-hour safety, security, peace of mind for family and their caregivers. For those suffering from Alzheimer's or dementia, we can help them create moments of joy and just really capture what's left of that person's personality and spirit, and just leave those memories with the families and caregivers as peaceful as they can, versus just the stress of caregiving for oneself.
Kind of events that can help the families.
We do have open house and tours at both of our assisted livings. We're hosting the Sioux Falls Blood Mobile tomorrow, Wednesday, from 8 to 11 at our East Side location, 3409 East 5th Street, from 8 to 11. And they'll be offering complimentary continental breakfast for those who donate. We'll also be having an open house and tours. Then the Bloodmobile will move from 1 to 4. It'll be at our West Side location, 1810 South Dorothy. And we'll have refreshments and tours and open house for those available. So if you have a loved one suffering with Alzheimer's, dementia, or just aging in place, it's a great opportunity to check out communities, see the residents in their own environment, and kind of take away the stigma of scary
Young
nursing
folks
homes.
think, well, I don't have time to sit down, but you do have an after hours event that comes up on the first Monday of every month.
Yes,
Tell
the
us
first
about
Monday of every month at our West Side location, we provide a caregiver support group that's from 5:30 to 6:30. That's for those working caregivers that aren't able to juggle their schedule as much. They can bring their loved one in, and our staff will help find them some socialization for that time, so they can get a break. They can relate with other caregivers going through some of the same stresses, concerns, frustrations as them, and just find that mutual ground and that extra.
Bobby Cherry is with us with Legacy Law. How does all this come together with the two
There's
organizations?
a lot of planning that overlaps, and if you're going to take care of yourself and your family, you need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself legally, so that if you can't articulate it because of incapacity or disability, that you've got it handled, that your family has a plan in place, they're not panicking to try and create one last minute. And then also to think ahead as far as what type of quality of life do you want, because it doesn't happen by accident. So we're trying to partner and make sure that
You
happens
just used
for
a word,
families.
but I think we need to define it for the audience, and that is capacity. What does that mean as far as families are concerned?
That's a tough one, because it's not just a flip of the switch and all of a sudden someone lacks capacity. A lot of times it's progressive, and maybe you see a person that has more capacity in the morning, but by afternoon it's faded away. Legally, that is what we're concerned with as lawyers, as elder law attorneys, to make sure that documents, specifically a financial power of attorney, a healthcare power of attorney, a trust or last will and testament, whatever it might be, is in place prior to losing capacity. Because once you lose capacity it's
gone when it is. And there are so many challenges on families and what happens hereafter the loved ones go. And if you don't have that capacity in mind and the power of attorney in mind, done while they still have capacity.
You're exactly right. A lot of times you might be forced to go into court then to get a guardianship or conservatorship in place. And I don't think a lot of folks realize that, actually advanced dementia, including Alzheimer's disease, is the 6th leading cause of death overall in the United States, 5th leading cause for people over 65, and the 3rd for those over 85. So this is a big part of our society today. And again, you can't just bury your head in the sand and ignore that. So what families should do is plan ahead. Make sure you've got good legal documents in place to take care of yourself, to take care of your family. One of those new documents, Bill, that's now out there is actually a dementia directive. So this is a healthcare power of attorney specifically for those impacted by dementia that addresses those issues. It first started on the east and west coast, you're seeing that, but now it's coming here to the Midwest because there are so many important issues that need to be addressed specifically for those impacted by
Listeners,
dementia.
I know that a number of you have either gone through or have heard of people that, as we've talked this morning, the capacity was gone. It became a legal issue in the courtroom. It's a lot better to take care of that outside the walls, law firm, outside the walls of that courtroom when people have the capacity and everybody agrees they had the capacity to have something on paper that they could move forward.
We always think that it's better to have your own future in your own hands. You want to be behind the driver's seat. You don't want someone else telling you how to handle your health care, or for a family member or judge trying to guess and decide. So it's really important. The other thing that's at stake is money. It costs a lot of money anymore for aging. The average is over $85,000 per year for a semi-private room in a nursing home with Alzheimer's. So again, there's a lot at stake here, and it's really important to plan. But it's also important for your own well-being and for your family's well-being to have that plan in
So
place.
how did these two organizations get together? I every time I talk to the two of you, I'm sitting here saying this should be done a lot of other places. I don't hear it done a lot of other places. And there are people getting old in other places as well. You guys are kind of a model.
Well, I think it's all about being the pioneers and having that forethought and the plans in place, and getting the education and awareness out there as much as we can to people. If you have those plans in place and you know what you're going to do, it makes it a lot easier when the time comes to get that admission process, to know what you're going to do in situations if families are separated by distance. That can be a real barrier when all of a sudden you think that your loved one's doing great and you get a call that now they need to go to a skilled nursing home or memory care unit. And if you haven't spoken to an elder law attorney like Bobby, it makes it very hard for us working on the senior living side to get someone into the system. So that's kind of how our partnership was formed, and it's just the power
Bottom
of
line is
networking.
we care. We don't have any benefit for looking out as far as beyond legal capacity or anything like that. But when you care about the folks you work with, you want to make sure that they have a holistic plan in place.
Getting older affects the whole family. Not only those that are getting older, but those that are trying to take care of those that are getting older, to make sure you're doing what they want, what's in their best interest, and not give away the farm.
And that takes advanced planning. Most people are caught off guard because they do bury their heads in the sand, and it's expensive. There's no denying that. So if you want to make sure that farm is preserved for the kids, or whatever the case may be, that you've got the care that you want, it's critical that you figure out, what the plan is going to look like, and to do it ahead of time. Most folks don't do it ahead of time, but for those that have waited a little bit too long, we can still assist those folks as well. And a lot of times people don't realize that. They think that they have to spend every penny down to the last dime. They don't have certain things in place to make sure the family is taken care of. So even for those that might be in a nursing home setting, we have a lot of different planning opportunities we can still do to help
14
them.
months, one of the most recent tapings. What effect is that as far as a timetable, as far as when the government might take over? How does 14 months
Well,
come
it's
into play?
important to know what your family's assets are, and if you're looking at senior care living, to know how much time that you've got and how much funds you have to spend down. So with Edgewood, we're really unique in our business model that as long as you've fulfilled a private pay obligation of 14 to about 18 months, and then you need to go on state aid assistance, Medicaid, we'll never ask you to leave. We'll constantly keep you in our building. We'll care for you until you become beyond our level of care, and then we'll assist the family in finding the proper placement. So we can really go through a lot of avenues to have someone age in place, and it's just important to be aware of that fact and know and have that future planning and peace of mind that costs are expensive, and if you have to go into senior living, chances are you will spend down. But if you can stay and have that choice of quality of life and quality of care,
Now,
it's
the
good to
other
do
thing
homework.
that I saw is that a lot of times we think, well, we start making our plans when we're 30, we're 40, we're 50, we're 60, or 70, or beyond. 18. I saw 18 in there as far as the time to start looking at power of attorneys in place.
You
That
know,
surprised me.
most folks don't think about that, but if you're, for instance, in a car accident and you're a legal adult, no one can sign your autograph for you. You've got to have the legal ability to be able to take care of a person. So we recommend anyone over the age of 18 actually having a financial power of attorney and a healthcare power of attorney. We even call them college kits to get them done in place before kids head off to college, because it's so important. And then as you get older, it's incredibly important, because if you have any incapacity issues or disability issues, you want to make sure that you're taken care of like you desire, and these are the directions to do it.
I'm going to pick on those folks with hot summer night for a minute, because a lot of times they don't wear helmets. And they say, you know, if I have an accident and I get hit on my motorcycle, I'm better off just dying. Even if you have that feel, guess what? You better have a power of attorney in place. You better have some things in place to take care of yourself. Regardless of what you want to do to your head and your family, it will have impact.
It does have incredible impact, and a lot of times people kind of laugh when they meet with me. They say they didn't realize dying was so difficult, but it really is sometimes a legal process that these families go through. But on the other side, it's an emotional process for the family. And if the family knows how you want health care to be handled or financial affairs to be handled, it's a gift you give your own
All right,
family.
upcoming events. We just have enough time to talk about those.
We've got our Bloodmobile coming at our east and west side locations tomorrow, Wednesday.
And then Legacy Law Firm will be at Active Generations Lifelong Learning Seminar on July 19th from 11 to noon, and we'll be presenting a seminar titled Protect Your Life Savings from Long-Term Care
Do they
Costs.
call... So, which of you first? Does it matter?
I think it's a case-by-case basis. It's really important to have those plans in place with the attorneys and elder law attorneys. If you're getting into the need for senior living, then it would be important to call Edgewood first.
Oh, no.
But it really is a case-by-case basis. But as Bobby said, as young as college age, get those POs in
Ladies,
place.
thanks for the visit, and we hope people will listen and act.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
There you go.